Well, Jim, speaking of protection, let's stay on the topic of AEW. Another clip that was not on Dynamite, so let's talk about this. I have not seen the full match. I'm sure it was a banger. Sammy Guevara and Jeff Hardy were inexplicably booked in a singles match to air on one of the B or C shows, and a viral clip has gone around. Have you seen it?
Yes, unfortunately I have, and I think it was for Rampage, so it wasn't even the B show, it was the C show. Jeff Hardy versus Sammy Guevara, and there's a couple of different fan cam version clips out there on the internet. As we speak, the television program that this is allegedly shot for has not aired yet. They may not. Would they show this? I can understand if it was live, there wouldn't be anything you could do about it, but I'd take this whole fucking thing out because apparently whatever they had done to this point, Sammy Guevara climbs to the top rope while Jeff Hardy is laying there, and Sammy is going to do the backflip. What is that? The shooting star press where he does a backflip off the top and lands with a splash on the poor victim beneath?
What you described is indeed the shooting star press.
Okay. Well, they should have shot the star instead of fucking doing this move to him. It would have been less painful because Sammy jumps off, does the backflip, and I guess in the spot, Jeff was going to raise his knees up so that Sammy's splash would be foiled and Sammy could sell it and Jeff could make a comeback or whatever. So they can't even, they got to add layers of difficulty. It's not bad enough. I'm going to lay here motionless while this fucking moron climbs up the top rope and it tells everybody he's crazy. Well, if he's crazy, what am I for laying here underneath him?
The whole time I'm wondering, what is Jeff Hardy thinking as this is happening?
And he's going to do a backflip, and then I'm going to raise my knees so that he can sell that, even though he can barely see. He can't see until he's a millisecond away from me because he's doing a backflip, and he's looking up at the ceiling. So Sammy lands his chest on the knees and his knees on Jeff Hardy's fucking face. And just, bam, not a knee lift, but a knee, not even a knee drop, a leg, a knee and thigh drop to Jeff Hardy's face, cross side of his head. And the whole place went, oh shit, instantly. And Matt is at ringside and you see him go, oh shit. And I think in one of the angles, you can see him kind of yelling in there like, what the fuck, bro? Not his real bro, but the other bro. Bobo, the bro. And apparently they brought the doctor into the ring to check on him. And then I think they continued the match. He was bleeding from his face or whatever.
Oh,
but you would think.
I didn't know that.
Somebody, now see, we don't know yet. Because this was just, we're recording. And this was just on the internet a couple hours ago. But this basically, somebody summed it up on Twitter saying, this means that Sammy Guevara has given both Matt and Jeff Hardy brain damage. And I don't, I mean, you've heard me on these shows say, what the fuck is the matter with these guys? They, in every match, dive, flip, dive off this, dive over that. I think, yeah, dive is great. What about the elbows and the knees? What about the velocity of a spinning 200-pound human? There's too much margin for error and all this stupid shit. Even if there's 6 guys waiting to catch somebody, it's more dangerous for one of the guys waiting to catch a guy than it is for the guy doing the dive being caught. Because you don't have any way to control where your fucking shit goes. And it's meaningless now. Everybody does them constantly. Everybody gets up from them. So, except for the potatoes, the ones that really land, and then they sometimes don't get up from that. Of course, whole match is fucked, but at least people believe that move was real. But it's meaningless. It's repetitive. It happens over and over. Bunch of children that look like they practiced the moves on the trampoline because that's what they did. are doing it to the general public. They're going, well, look how skinny that guy is. He wouldn't hurt anybody. This is the complete polar opposite, the antithesis of what the wrestling business was founded on. Make it not hurt, look like it does from people who look like they could. And now people who look like they can't are doing shit that look like they're not, except when they fuck up and really do. And
you're out of touch, Farmer Burns.
But, you know, and you could go back. I'm not, okay, people say Cornette stuck in the 80s when they had 15-minute headlocks. Oh, we had tons of those back then. Let's move up 15 years then. Let's go to the late 90s, to the Attitude Era that everybody romanticizes. And I know there was a lot of chaos on WCW, and there was a lot of people were in the ring in WCW in that days when they were trying to fight back as the WWE was pulling away that should have been in the ring. But in the Attitude Era, on Raw or then SmackDown that debuted in 99 and continued in the early 2000s, or even in TNA, Impact of 2002 through 2008, 9, whatever, with a lot more of the cruiserweights or the X division or whatever. Yes, botches have always happened. Shit, it's not ballet. There is a risk of error. Shit can go wrong. Potatoes happen. But anybody, any independent-minded person who just being objective and just looking at with no agenda, just is this or is this not the case? How many multiple times, how much exponentially more botches or incidents or injuries or just goofy shit that they have to stop the match over, that people have to be checked out, or that you get hurt or busted up? How many more times does that happen on television now from two companies, WWE and AEW, than happened with WWE's programs, TNA, Ring of Honor, for fuck's sake? Those guys were doing everything in the fucking sun. And I was trying to gear some of them back, and yet they had injuries, but there wasn't every show. Guys that are, and girls that aren't ready for the spot they're in, doing incessant shit. The greatest marksman in the world, you could be a fucking army sniper, shoot the balls off a fly from a mile away. But if you try to shoot that fly's balls 1,000 times in a row, you're going to start missing balls. And they do so much so often that there's, and that add in that they're not prepared for and that they shouldn't be trying anyway because they've just figured it out in their own demented minds because they saw it in a video game. And even if it's not going to be believable, even if people are going to sit there and say, oh, he was laying there waiting on it, or he was waiting to catch him, or whatever, they're going to do it because it looks cool. And they got to come up with something better than Commander did last week, or fucking Gravity, or goddamn Uranium, or whatever their fucking name was.
Is the problem too the expectation? Like someone like Sammy Guevara, not justifying this move or anything, but if he's always been doing this shit, and now fans expect him to, is it hard for him as a wrestler to start cutting it out?
Well, it shouldn't be, because he's going to make the same amount of money because he's under contract to Tony Khan, who fires no one. And at the same time, he's not over, and the people don't really fucking like him anymore. So it ain't going to make a goddamn difference if he doesn't try to kill himself in every fucking match. If he maybe figured out a way to cut promos and come up with a personality that the people were, the only time the people liked him was when he wasn't acting like his real self. Once people see him exhibit some kind of his real self, he becomes a heel. And then they take him off TV, or he's hurt long enough that they forget about it, and they cheer for him a little bit when he comes back until they get sick of him. But no, what are you going to do in 4 years if you've got to dive off the roof right now, you idiot? And that's expectation. You said, when Chris Candido called me that time and said, can you come and work the ECW show? We need a surprise. We need a surprise. Why do you need it? Well, we have a surprise at every show. Then it's not really a surprise. What the nature of it is may be, but the definition of a surprise is an unexpected event. If you're expecting a surprise, you've already shit the bed. So that's the position they put themselves in. Tony books himself in corners, and the indie talent that wants to do the stunts paint themselves into a position where even if they win their match and beat a heel that maybe they had a goddamn issue with, the fans that do come to these shows now, they're down to those that will say, but he didn't do a fucking flip. So what?
Like Sammy Guevara is a great example, though, because in a lot of respects, compare him to Dominic Mysterio. Someone who can't do all those flips, but got over as a heel finally because he was a punchable guy and everyone thought he was despicable. Yes. Sammy was legitimately a punchable guy. The talent wanted to punch him.
Yes.
They never played into that really well on AEW TV. We talk about leaning into things like the Buck should have done. Sammy Guevara, you had someone there who wrestlers wanted to kill. Why didn't they use that well?
Yes, remember it says Sammy of the slappable face. Because they don't understand what other people see. They don't understand what normal people see. What people who are thinking logically see of them. They are wrapped up in that they're all superstars. Watts sent a memo out one time, beginning, gentlemen, I know that all of you believe that you are superstars and, quote unquote, the people know everything about you and everything you say and do. But the memo was about, if you're in a gimmick match, explain the fucking stipulations. If you've got a rivalry with somebody, remind the people why you're mad at them. That type of thing. Logically, things that make sense. But if you're a superstar, everybody knows. Everybody knows. That's what everybody knows what I did on Rampage and YouTube. And 6 months ago, this fucking 30-second clip is now going to play into this goddamn triple threat tag team match I've got on Rampage, because he's not only a mark, but he's a especially numbers oriented guy that likes a lot of statistics and information going around in his brain. And he can keep up with it, so he thinks everybody can, because it ain't that important to everybody except you, Tony.
Well, before we get past Rain Man here, you want to hear the results for Rampage since we're not going to watch it?
Oh, sure.
No DQ match, Sammy Guevara defeated Jeff Hardy. Dustin Rhodes and the Von Erichs, Russ and Marshall, defeated Hit, Romero Cruz, and Shimbashi.
Wait, what? Start again. The opponents.
Hit, comma, Romero Cruz, and Shimbashi.
Okay, well, a good match for those guys to get over. It's a
good post-Jeff Hardy concussion match, I think. Then, Queen Aminata defeated Anna Jay. Now, there's one I want to watch. And finally, Jim, a 12-man tag team match. The Bang Bang Scissor Gang.
Oh, good Lord.
Defeated the Dark Order and Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and Satnam Singh.
Wow.
It was Singh's first match since September 2023.
And hopefully the people are saying his last match until at least 2025.
Have they gotten less out of their giant than WCW got out of El Gigante?
Oh, God, yes, because at least people remember the 4 words that he actually spoke. I want the belt.
I want the belt.
I mean, that obviously the guy can't do anything or he would have been doing it by now, but still you could use just a human being of that size and just stand him in the right place and you ought to be able to get more out of him. But they put that on national cable. That's all I've got to say.